there's a bit of momentum building as you kind of enter this final third of the season, back-to-back wins. Is there a bit of a sea change, a bit of a change of feeling here?
Am I feeling that? I try and be realistic with football if I can. I think sometimes the moment you start getting overly confident is sometimes you get a knock. But so I genuinely just focus on the next one. I know it's not what journalists want to hear, but I think the best way in football is to not to get carried away if it's going well, not to get too down if it's if you've gone a few games without getting a victory. As I've said in the past, I don't try and look too deep into the fixture list, but I know we've got a home game at the weekend and we've got 2 away games. I think just focus on the next one really. The only reason I have half an eye on the next games is because of the selection of the players and the team, and thinking, can this player keep going? When do we give him a rest if I need to give somebody a rest? Because we are in a cycle of midweek games that is it's got the potential to damage the squad somewhere down the line if we pick up more injuries. So we're trying to balance it off. So, but no, I don't sit here and think, wow, we're flying, we aren't we great? I sit here and think we have to work really, really hard for everything we get. And this next game we're playing against a team who haven't lost in the last 8 league games, in the last 10 games in total. So we're expecting a really, really tough football match. Just got to get our mind focused on what we do and how we're going to play, and see if we can keep it going. But against a pretty confident team who've done pretty well on the road recently, and yet they've had a lot of home games in the last 10. I think somebody told me they've had 7 of the last 10 at home. So whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But they'll be confident. They'll believe, like you were trying to intimate about us. Are they on a roll? Are they going well? Well, these are tests for us really, and let's see if we can come through it.
You spoke a bit about managing the squad in what's going to be an incredibly hectic period. You were able to rotate against the last game, and that paid dividends. So are we likely to see more changes?
There'll probably be 1 or 2, but there won't be wholesale changes. I think there was 3 the other day. So I'm just mindful. I'd like to get back to the Saturday games, and then you can manage their well-being throughout the week. And every 3 days is a bit tough to see, because there is a few knocks. There is a few who don't feel as if they should train because they've got to type this or a type that, and we're just trying to manage them through really. So tomorrow being a Friday, I'll assess who feels they can train, who is flashing amber lights for pulling up, and then see if we can get the balance right really. We've got, the good thing for me is that we've got some flexible footballers who can play inside or outside, and we have to try and get the formation and the selection right to give 1 or 2 a breather in this period, but also to keep the performance level high as possible.
Amongst those injuries, is there anyone who is ruled out who hasn't been before?
No, I don't think so. I think just the normal ones. I've got 5 on my board. The long-term injuries of Ross, Corey, Embo, and you got Gucci on top of that, and then Niall Huggins, who was back on the grass with his boots on today, but we'll probably be easing him back in with a week's training or something. So, but apart from that, them 5, I think everybody else is just about fit and available. But some, as I said, with amber lights flashing against their name, really have got to be careful, because some of them will have played 6 games in 14, 15 days, so a game every 3 days for the last 3 weeks is a bit tough for them.
Is there any update on Gooch and his score?
Saw him today, he's got a nice new haircut. He's there's no update really. Listen, he'll be ready when he's ready. It was always going to be another couple of weeks, I think, in my mind. So as I said in the past, I always judge when I see them back with their boots on and they're back on the grass and they're on the other pitch with the physio doing a bit of running and a bit of work, and then I know that they're not too far away from joining back in with the session. At the moment he's still on a massage bed and in the treatment room, so but fingers crossed he won't be too long. I don't, it's not a long-term injury, it's another couple of weeks, I think.
I think we've said before, earlier in the season perhaps, that I think this season was about consolidation, or what everyone thought would be consolidation in this league. But you have found yourself right in the mix for those playoff spots, which are up for grabs in such a tight league. Does that make it easier for you as a coach to motivate those players, knowing that you've got that carrot of the playoffs, within grasp?
Does it make it easier? I think footballers generally can perform better when they've got a goal to shoot for. Now that might be to stay out the bottom three, it might be to stay in the top two, or it might be to target playoffs, to give them something to shoot for. But I think ultimately the players on the pitch do the job or don't do the job, and that's why I keep going on about squad depth and quality. Injuries are part and parcel of football. You have to accept it. I think it's okay for us because we've got lots of young players who are getting opportunity if we pick up injuries in parts of the pitch, and it's great for their development without the expectation of you must win. Listen, at this moment it does get mentioned, let's keep accumulating points, enjoy looking at the table come 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. It's without great expectation other than within themselves, within the group, keep pushing on, keep enjoying the scenario, and but they do know that every game is a difficult game for us. As I say, the next opponents haven't lost in 10 games, so they'll come pretty confident and looking forward to the challenge. We have to show them, hopefully, that they won't have played against a team like us in 10 games, and that on our day we can beat anybody, and hopefully we have a really good day. But let's wait and see. They carry some threats. They've got a lot of speed and mobility at the top end of the pitch. They score from a lot of crosses, and so it's a dangerous game, one that we have to be mindful of and concentrate and see if we can get through.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom. Hey Tony. The result against QPR, obviously a fantastic result, and so many times when you've been doing these press conferences you've said about wanting to give the lads up front the space to express themselves and to show how good they were. We obviously saw that on Tuesday night. Is that the blueprint now for how you want the team to play going forward? Is that an example that you're going to point to?
I don't see how we played as a blueprint. I think we tried to exploit what we saw as a specific weakness in the opposition, and yet it was different from how we'd been playing. So I think how we've been playing and what we've been doing isn't too far away from the norm for us, really, where it puts players, puts round pegs in round holes where they want to play, where they're best suited. We moved one or two around the other night, and probably our best 15-20 minutes was at the end when Ahmed was back on the pitch, when Dan Neil was back on the pitch, and that's not been detrimental to anybody else because you have to dig in and make sure you were in the football match, and yet I did feel towards the end we could cut through them more decisively and created some more chances late on. Maybe because as teams attack us, we have players who can hurt them on transition and pick the right pass and find the right space to run into, whereas early in football matches it's a lot more cagey. But it's good to be able to bring the players on we brought off the bench late on the other night to finish the game off for us, and but collectively it was a good result. To go away to London and come back with 3 points is always a good achievement, I feel.
And just in terms of the fixture congestion, it's something you alluded to earlier. Obviously a lot of travel, a lot of trips to London recently. You mentioned some of the lads having knocks, but what other kind of What does that look like in terms of the impact of all that fixture congestion? Really, does it drain the squad, or is it the positive results? Are they really helping?
Oh, I think both of them. I think it does drain you. We've been to London 3 times. Been on the bus 6.5 hours there, 6.5 hours back. We've been on the train, which is better because you're doing it in 3 hours. And yet when you pick up positive results, it helps you recover better. It helps you recover, keeps the mentality, keeps the training fresher and brighter, and keeps their mindset strong. And so positive results always help. It's not been easy going to London 3 times in a fortnight, but we've done it, and we've come away with okay results. We're trying to compound them results with positive results at home as well, where we should be picking up most of our points, and yet it is a different scenario. Teams do make life difficult for us at home at times, and Reading was an example of making life difficult at the Stadium of Light, and I think Bristol City will come and make life difficult for us and carry a threat on transition, other than like Reading had Andy Carroll on a direct format of trying to rebound from their defensive positions. I think Bristol City brings some speed and directness as well, and so it's a threat that we have to be mindful of, and try and find a way to break them down and get 3 points if we can.
Quite similar in that they've got a good crop of quite young players as well, like of Alex Scotts and co.
Yeah.
Does that affect how you set up as well?
Well, I think it always affects everything that you set when you set up. That you set up because of how you want to play, of course, but then you set up to prevent the strengths of the opposition hurting your team, and so we'll be very mindful of their strengths and their talented young players who've allowed them to go on a good run. Really, I think if they've gone 10 games unbeaten, 8 in the league unbeaten, then just to find themselves in mid-table suggests that they've found a formula that's really working for them, and it's down to us to try and find the answers to win at home against a team that'll come and make life really difficult and carry a threat. But we're in confident mood. We should be in confident mood, and if we have to grind it out to the 85th minute again and try and win 1-0, then we'll do it. If we can start bright and score early and see how the game goes, it's just the next challenge for us. Let's look forward to it and see if we can get 3 points and keep our points tally ticking along.